close to Rubicon. Wake the dog up.
Let's talk about Armored Core 6. In case you aren't new, you probably have already noticed my obsession with this game. In less than a month after its release, I had probably clocked over 100 plus hours into it. I've been a FromSoft fan from the moment I was able to get my hands on a game by them. My first, in this case, being Dark Souls 2. And that was about when I was in middle school. I'm 24 now. So I've been playing FromSoft games for a while. I know there's some old heads out there that have probably played a lot longer than I have. No, they definitely have. And I'm sorry for not hopping on the train sooner, but I was a kid, okay? Delving into something not Souls-like in nature from FromSoft had me filled with a little bit of anticipation, a little anxiety, but mostly excitement because they don't miss. They really don't miss. I remember the months leading up to the game's release, I just kept watching VatiVidia's 40-plus minute gameplay showcase over and over again. I probably watched that around 25 times. I watched it at my house. I watched it in my car. Not while driving, of course. I watched it at work when I was doing like my side work on my server. So I would just be watching it, and people would be like, "Jared, what are you watching?" I'm like, "It's the same video." I'm sorry. Anyway. At the time of writing this script, I have, it has been exactly 40 days since the game's release, and I have, let's take a look. Let's see how many hours I have in this game. I have 151 hours. I still play this game every day. I play it every freaking day. I come home from work, I play it, I wake up, I play when I can before I go to work. I love playing the PvP, it's super fun. Especially whenever you get a good matchup with your opponent. I'm not going to get too much into that. I'll talk about that later in the video, but it's just, the game just keeps bringing me back. There's just something about it. It's super freaking awesome. I don't think I've played a game this frequently since the time of its release. I seriously don't think that, even that, like, just playing it as frequently, even like disregarding the time of its release, like playing it every day, I've just kind of like hyper focused on this game and I can't stop. It's just so good. And that is why Armored Core 6 is easily my game of the year, and I would like to talk today about that. So without further ado, let's go! The story of AC6 is played out through audio messages, lore logs, and some cutscenes sprinkled out throughout each playthrough, and I say each playthrough because in order to get the fuller view of the narrative, you have to complete the game 3 times through New Game Plus. You never see your player character in the game. In fact, to my knowledge, the only time we see our player character is in one of the teaser trailers that came out a bit before the game was released. And that's another cool thing about this game, because FromSoft kind of gives the freedom to the community to visualize out what our character, or it's 621 looks like. 621 is an augmented human, and the only footage we see of him is when he is bundled up on an operating table. So the community has kind of gone in 2 different directions on what 621 looks like in game. Some people choose to visualize him as a relatively normal looking guy, and the other camp imagines something more along the lines of this. I personally like this one more because it's kind of epic, and the way I rationalize it is this: if your arms and legs are not being used, the neural connection between you and the AC may be better. 621 is a Gen 4 augmented human, and the older gens seem to be pretty powerful in the game. Though I could be getting that wrong, even though I've beaten the game 7 times, I don't know. Anyways, enough with my headcanon. The story brings you in with no clue what's going on. You have Walter, who is your handler, and he gives you jobs commissioned by the 4 or 5 different organizations, corporations, that they are fighting over Rubicon. They're all fighting over Rubicon for the natural resource, coral. Coral is introduced as an insanely efficient energy source, don't tell America, but as you play out, you make contact with Air, this game's FromSoft waifu. You meet her during the final mission in Chapter 1, after you're caught in a giant coral explosion at Watchpoint Delta, and your first moments with her are shared during an amazing boss fight at the end of the mission versus Balteus, an autonomous weapon craft designed by the PCA, or the Planetary Closure Association. If the chopper during the first mission wasn't a filter boss, then Balteus certainly was. I knew I was going to like the game before, but the Balteus fight cemented my realization that what I was playing was truly a masterpiece. The music, the breakneck combat, air cheering you on, all of it just makes you feel alive. The coral that is freed in the explosion starts moving on across the ocean towards what Walter believes to be the coral convergence. Basically, imagine a huge oil deposit, but with red glowing energy that could power the Earth for guaranteed centuries. The coral, however, has shown that it is something more than a power source. It has a mind of its own. I mean, it's moving across the ocean. Air being a coral consciousness also shows that there is more to coral than it being a supremely efficient power source. That is right. Yes. Yes, it's fucking alive. The story then proceeds with you following the coral to the coral convergence, meeting new characters and upgrading your AC along the way. I don't want to spoil any more of the story because I want you, the viewer, to play the game and experience the story firsthand. Plus, I've kind of just been rambling. I still have yet to talk about customization and the multiplayer. So let's dive straight into customization. The amount of customization you could do with not just your AC, but the colors, the decals, your emblem. It's absolutely dumbfounding. You can make literally anything. You can make Joe from Family Guy, Peter Griffin. You can make Mr. Krabs. There's so many possibilities. The emblem and logo customization reminds you a lot of the classic Call of Duty emblem design. You can join a multiplayer lobby with someone who has an anime girl's ass as their emblem, or Rolf from Ed, Edd n Eddy. Or hell, you could even make one of Rolf from Ed, Edd n Eddy peering out of an anime girl's ass. The possibilities are endless. The level of customization is a little daunting, but it's super worth getting invested in and learning how to utilize it. And that's just cosmetics. You can customize the entire makeup of your mech. Well, weapons, legs, arms, head, core, generator, boosters, and AC ability. You could do a shield. You can do a massive explosion. You can do basically like you're out of health and you're like saved. You have like a standby thing. You get like a overshield. There's like so many different things. There's like not so many. There's like 4 options. But the build potential and just that, like that's just like probably the least amount you can customize the core abilities. Yeah, there's like an infinite amount of potential builds out there, just like waiting to be born into this reality. And different missions are suited for different builds, especially in your first couple playthroughs. So if you have a build you like and don't want to lose it, you can just save it. And you definitely won't have to worry about running out of save slots, because there are 4 tabs with 40 max slots each for you to save your build, and that is excluding the slots available for ACs that you can download from the internet. That's right. If you want to share your kick-ass Pickle Rick AC to the other pilots out there, you can 100% do that. So excluding the downloadable slots, you have a max of 160 personalized mechs you can build and then save. But that's enough about the customization. Let's get to the final topic, multiplayer. The multiplayer is one of the things I actually do have a gripe with. It's one of the only things, actually. There is no matchmaking. Instead of that, they have a room-based system where you can host a room and people can join on you. It is pretty fun, hopping into a room and finding a dude who is untouchable, where you can spend a good amount of time trying to beat him, or vice versa. It's just really fun, like, especially, like, I'm not always getting bodied. I'm actually pretty good, but, like, having someone, like, join and then they just keep trying to beat you, or you keep trying to beat someone else, it is pretty fun. It's pretty fun. There are 1v1s, as well as 3v3s, so you can duke it out one-on-one, like I just said, or you can have like a chaotic fuckfest where you have infinite lives and try to kill as many enemy ACs as possible. The only issue is that nobody seems to like the room system as much as I do, which sucks. There are certain times of the day when there's literally no one playing, because the multiplayer side of the game is just it's just, I don't know, they didn't give it matchmaking for some reason, and that sucks, because the multiplayer side of the game is just as fun as the single player side, in my humble opinion. The fast-paced combat is so fucking fun, and there are some matches where I don't blink until the match is over, and when it is, there are tears running down my face. Literal tears. It's really, really fun. And I really hope the AC6 dev team finds a way to breathe life into the multiplayer somehow, because it's so fun. Like, whenever you get bored from the campaign, because you've beaten it 7 times like I have, and I'm still not totally bored. I'll be like a little burnt out. Like, I'll just hop on the Nest. That's what it's called, the multiplayer. And you'll open it up, and it's either like there's no current players, or there's like 2 rooms, and one's like a team, and it takes 6 people to make it a thing, and it takes like 10 minutes for anyone to join, and that's if nobody leaves. Sometimes people are impatient Andes, and they fucking leave before you can even have the fight. Which nothing hurts more than sitting, watching the lobby screen, and you have like almost enough people, and then like someone buckles and someone fucking leaves. It's so sad. But whenever it is active, whenever people are playing, it's genuinely probably the most fun I've had in a long time in a multiplayer like game where you are combating against another player. I don't know, it's just really fun. The different, like, I'll have like a really light on my feet build. That's what I really like. I really like the reverse joints, and then you'll have someone who has like the quad legs, and they're like up in the air, so they're like flying around shooting missiles at you, and you're like dodging and jumping and flying up. It's so fun, and it's really satisfying whenever you win. And if it's a good fight and you lose, it's still satisfying, because you're like both on 1 health, and it's like, wow, that was a really good fucking fight. That was really fun. I really wish that it was matchmaking, because I don't know, maybe there will be like a mod someday. I don't know. I know there's like the anti-cheat thing that prevents people from doing mods, but I know people have mods in the game. I just don't know how widely used they are. But aside from like the gripe about the not like there being no matchmaking in the multiplayer, it really is just so fucking fun. Anyway, that is the final topic. I'll just wrap it up with some of my final thoughts. So long story short, Armored Core 6 is my game of the year. I hope that some of you who haven't played the game and watched this video are like, oh, maybe I'll try it out. Or maybe you're like, this guy's fucking stupid. Baldur's Gate is way better, and it is a very good game. But this is just my personal game of the year. I know that Baldur's Gate 6 is probably gonna get... No, Baldur's Gate 6? Oh, damn. Baldur's Gate 3 will probably get Game of the Year, because it's just one of those games that when you hop on Steam, you see like 10 of your friends playing Baldur's Gate. Like, everyone's playing it, and it's super fun. I have like 2 campaigns that I'm doing with my friends, and it's some of the best like multiplayer shit that has come out in a long time. But Armored Core 6, I have more hours in Armored Core 6 than I do Baldur's Gate. There are times in Baldur's Gate where I'm like, oh, can this fucking end? In Armored Core, I'm like, there's not a moment where I'm like, oh, can this fucking end? Except for like whenever you're playing the game through the first time and you're like, these bosses are fucking hard. And then you figure out like, oh no, they're not actually that hard. I just gotta play differently, or like build differently. And even when you do that, they're like, it can be challenging. There are some builds that are fucking ridiculous and completely nuke bosses, but it's the same way in Dark Souls, the same way in like all the other Souls games. And I'm sorry for bringing Souls up again, but it's a FromSoft game, and I feel like it is appropriate for me to pull information from their previous titles, or like comparisons. So if you're salty about me doing that, grow up, fucking loser. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'm really excited for the Game Awards this year. I know it's not gonna win, but I will be holding out. I will be holding out. If you really, if you like the video, drop a like. Maybe subscribe. Maybe share. If you're feeling, I don't know. Click the copy link. Maybe that helps in the algorithm. I know that helps on like TikTok and Instagram and shit. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.